Ta-da! The doors are open. All right. Doors are open. Get everybody hustled in the room. Got our time management, time blocking, kind of a time management and time blocking course that we have for you guys today. So Tony's got her intro, so that's good. So we'll have Teresa up here eventually as everybody gets into the room. 11:59. So let's see how well everybody time block this. We'll have to see at 12 how many more we get in the room afterwards. It'll be fun to watch. Let's see, 26, 11:59, 12 o'clock, 26. That's good. You got 26 people in the room so far. You're welcome for lunch, Kelly. Perfect time blocking, Mari. Absolutely. So Mari used perfect time blocking to be on time. Hey, Cynthia, how are you? Grace, we have Gus, Grace, Anissa, Nisa and Regina. Hello, Exit Grace Realty. Hi, guys. Missed you yesterday, Grace, at the Moore event. And Nia, I did see you, and you've got a couple people with you, so that's good. And I did see you, so that's good. Good deal. And I know I got you connected up with somebody. So hello, Virginia. How are you? And why can't I see that name? What is that? Oh, Robin. Hey, my Robin. You're welcome for lunch. Hello, Irene. And Tony just put in here. So yeah, we'll share with you guys. If you're expecting an order, you should have received it or picked it up by now. If not, shoot Tony an email and she'll work with you on getting it sorted out. So that's good. Hey, Marcia, good to see you. So awesome. Frank Apasso, good to see you as well. Let's see here. Frank, I think you got to call me back on something. Gordon, good to see you. Rosanna from American Heritage Berkshire in the house. Beautiful thing. Celeste, how are you? The Berkshire folks are talking with each other. All right, it's 12:01. We are going to get started. So this is, I got a lot of notes in here. So we are delighted to have you guys here. Please hit us up with any questions as far as that's concerned. We already talked about the Jimmy John situation. If you're missing a sandwich, reach out to Tony via her email, which is in the chat. Please use the chat to communicate with us. And if you have multiple team members, let us know in the chat so we have a better idea what our true attendance was, because I know a lot of you guys will get together. I know Regina told me they got a bunch, or not Regina, Grace told me there's a bunch sitting there at Exit Grace. So I think Berkshire had a contingent sitting together. Nia told me they've got some people there, so that's good. All right, so before we get started, we got to thank our lunch sponsor. Our lunch sponsor is a good friend of mine and a great advocate for realtors and the industry. Teresa, we're kind of blessed with Teresa. She actually moved into the sales side of Old Republic from the operations side. And I always feel that that makes great salespeople. And as it turns out, I think she just told me she's in the top 5 for Old Republic titles. So Teresa, if you want to turn on your camera and your speaker, you can say hello to everybody, and everybody can thank Teresa for picking up lunch today. There you are.
Hi, everyone. Hey, thanks for coming on. Rich, I just am excited about this. There's so many ways that people can about title insurance, but we're not talking about that. So I will move it over to Rich. And I appreciate your nice comments and everyone that I know on, Mari and everyone, Rosanna. So I'll let Rich go ahead. Thank you.
All right, perfect. Thank you very much for sponsoring. We're going to do a little screen sharing and get everything set up for you guys right now. So we have now shared our screen. You guys should all be able to see this. I just want to fix the slideshow from there. And perfect. I just got to open up the chat box and we'll get you guys squared away so I can see your stuff, any feedback that you guys have. So, time blocking, mastering time blocking for success. It is a big deal. It's pretty much how I get everything done. And it's just crazy how much It has helped me grow and advance in my career. So let's talk a little bit about that. Just a brief background if you guys don't know me. Been in the mortgage business for 30 years. This week we're actually celebrating 13 years here with Cross Country Mortgage. Cross Country Mortgage right now is the #1 retail only mortgage lender in the United States, third largest lender in the country, but those other two lenders, they do wholesale. We deal direct to the public. We do service our own loans, and that's Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, Ginnie Mae. So most likely when your clients close with us, they'll also be making payments to us. All right. Now, why is time blocking important? Well, let me give you an idea of some of the hats that I wear that you guys may not even known about. So as a regional manager here for Cross Country, I have 13 branches that I oversee across the state of Illinois, into Florida, into Missouri. So there's a lot of responsibilities there, certainly. Our branch itself here in Elk Grove Village has about 26 employees here. We also manage a processing center. What does a processing center does? We provide processing for other mortgage branches. So we've got 4 other branches that we process for in addition to our own. Samantha and Denise take great care of them. And Krista just recently joined the team, so we're expanding there. As the captain of the team, I am still originating loans. I will never not originate loans. And last year we did about 99 units for about 33 million. Weekly, I speak at 2 realtor offices every week. I attend at least 2 networking functions a week minimum. We actually have 5 team meetings a week. Excuse me. I have to have, based on my coaching, 75 conversations with clients. We do 1 to 3 networking events, as you guys know, during the week, whether it's a Chamber of Commerce, something we do on our own. I do a branch or sales meeting as well. I also meet with every client we pre-approve. And got to have some time for family time, so reserve a date night and also stay healthy because that stuff's important. But the question is, how in God's name do I do all this stuff? Well, we're going to talk about time blocking. There was a good quote that I heard. I actually watched another class about time management recently. It was directed towards mortgage lenders, but the quote in the class was, "Your calendar is a reflection of you." So what's on your calendar is probably a reflection of what's important to you. It's probably a reflection of what your results are. I really like that line. So let's talk about building a calendar that's going to serve you. And that's really what this class is all about. So quick exercise. So who on this call knows what their hourly rate is? You don't have to tell me what your hourly rate is, but who knows what their hourly rate is? Meaning that most of our folks that are on this call are self-employed. You're self-employed real estate agents. Knowing what your hourly rate is really important. So how do we figure that out? And this is important for time management and time blocking. So if you write down your annual income, you divide it by 2,000. Now, only use 2,000 if you're a full-time real estate agent. Do not use 2,000 if you are a part-time real estate agent. Use the number of, what I would suggest is you use the number of hours a week that you work typically. So if you're a part-time agent, but no matter what, you're putting in 8 hours a week, 8 times 50, that's the number you're going to use. 8 times 50, divide that into your annual income, and it's going to give you your hourly rate. That's what your time is worth. That is a big, big deal. So again, you're going to take whatever your income was last year. If you're a full-time agent, divide it by 2,000. If you're part-time, you have 1 extra step to do. Take the hours you're working a week part-time, multiply it by 50. That's the number you're going to divide into your income. Now, why is some of this stuff important? Well, number 1, once you know your hourly rate, you can also use another formula to figure out how much you could pay somebody to help build your team. So if you know your hourly rate is, you also could probably pay 25% of whatever your hourly rate is for help. Now, for some people that are really killing it, maybe they already have a team and that hourly rate that 25% could be spread over a couple different teammates. We don't want to talk about team building here. I just want to give you guys some ideas that you could likely afford to delegate some tasks. Like if your hourly rate is $75 an hour, should a $75 an hour person be doing data entry? Probably not. So that might be something where you go to your office, you go find a virtual assistant, go try to delegate some of these other things so you can work on what you should be doing best, which is selling. Okay, those were just a little bit of a bonus here. Now let's talk about the weekly schedule. Um, One of the things I wanted to talk about as far as weekly schedule, I've always fought scheduling. I've always fought time blocking because being a independent free spirit, and the fact that I think that quality alone attracts a lot of us to this business, to being a real estate agent where you have freedom, to being a loan officer where you have freedom of time. You don't want to be told when to be there, what time you've got to do anything. The problem is if you don't have a schedule, you don't really have a business. So that is a big deal. So Cynthia raised her hand. I don't know, Cynthia, if you want to, let me just see if I've got something in the reaction side. Cynthia raised your hand. So Cynthia, if you've got something you want to drop in the comments, please do that. In the meantime, so having a schedule is critically important. The one thing that I learned, in spite of the way I thought I was built, meaning that I really didn't want to be tied to a schedule and I didn't want to have that discipline, what I learned is that actually by having a schedule, having time block, it actually created a lot more time for me. And while that's counterintuitive, trust me, I'm a living, breathing example of now I know where my time is and where to get it. So how are we going to build this? You guys were all sent a weekly schedule, I think, that you guys can build out. Should be a form that looks kind of like this. I am going to exit here really quick because I want to show you guys how to build this. And let's see, we will stop the share. You guys get to see me for a second while I get out of there. And we're going to go to actual schedule itself so we can build it with you guys. All right, do the share again, and we want to do that screen right there. Okay, perfect. Okay, so this is our weekly schedule. Now this is just a template so that I could show you guys how to build this schedule. We're going to build this from the priorities or what's the most important. The most important thing, Linda says, I don't see that I have the template. Can it be resent? Tony will take care of that. Okay. So what should go on this first? We've got a whole schedule, Monday through Sunday, starting at 5:30. If you get up earlier, you can make the adjustments. But Monday through Sunday, starting at 5:30, what should go on first? First and foremost, the things that should go on first is the things you do for yourself. The things you do for yourself can include reading, working out, can include meditation, it can include church, and should include your spouse. These are things that are important to you. This is what I want you to start. Let's say you've got to get your kids out to school. That's got to happen every day. Put that time in here every day. We're going to build the calendar based on what you have to do for your family and yourself and build it out from there. So Tony did say that she is working on getting that out. So, okay. So I want to give you guys an example. So we're going to start building out a little bit of a calendar here, and I'm going to work on some of the things that I would call self things that are important to me. So for example, I might go 5:30, I want to work out. 6 o'clock, I want to read. And then maybe no later than 7, I want to be in the shower. I am putting in maybe something as important as a shower because I know that's kind of my cutoff time. If I wake up late, if the dogs ties me up for something, no matter what, if I want to be where I've got to go, I should have a locked in time where I'm actually going to jump in the shower and start heading out. Now, other things that would be important to me. Let's see if I can move this around a little bit. Okay. Other things that would be important to me. One of the things that's important because of the way our schedules are, we know that between events that we have, whether it's Women's Council or Realtors, Main Street Organization, different events with your own brokerages, and certainly even showings and things of that nature, your evenings can get really, really taken away from you. And if you are in a relationship, I strongly advise, being a guy that's married for 31 years, that you carve out one night a week for date night. Date night doesn't necessarily mean going out to dinner. It could be taking a walk, it could be go see a movie, whatever it is. But block one night out for your spouse. Trust me, they will appreciate it. And if you don't, you guys all know we can get busy enough not to do that and take time out. So I'm going to throw in a couple of other things in here on the personal side. I do have we'll call it martial arts class that I do take there. I have another class that I take. So anything personal, put that into your schedule first. So these are the things that are personal. I'm not going to keep you on here, guys, while I build out all the workouts and all this other stuff. But the personal stuff goes in first. Please make that note. Family, of course, should go in next. So taking care of yourself, family goes in next. Anything you got to do to run kids around, soccer, baseball, practice, whatever. Church, of course, if you're going to church, get that plugged in there. I want the first part of the calendar to be built around you and family. All right. Next in here would be appointments that you have with your office or your work that are kind of mandatory. They're going to happen every week. So I'm going to give you guys an idea for my own appointment. I meet with my team every morning. Now that time varies a little bit. It depends on what else is going on in the day, but we meet with the team every morning. So I have a team meeting. And again, the time of day will change a little bit based on other things. We have a status meeting with our processors every Tuesday morning. And that goes in there. We've got another team meeting. This one happens at 9:30. Team meeting. And then the last team meeting is Friday. So those meetings are in here. So anything you have by that. Now you can, actually, I'm going to plug in a couple of other meetings for you guys because I just want you to see some things that are in the schedule. Berkshire sales meeting. And then this is going to be a Remax meeting that we have. Sales meeting, whoops, sales. Try that again. Remax sales meeting. Okay. So these are some things that are in here. We also have, is that Thursday? Thursday at 3:00, I have for training. And then Tony and I will have a marketing meeting. So these are some of the meetings. I wanted to put the meetings in here first. These happen every week. Might as well plug them in here. Now, in these meetings, the majority of these meetings, I don't consider sales activities. So I actually will color code these meetings that are just meetings that we have to have, but I'm going to color code them out as green meetings. I'm sorry, red meetings. Red just, they got to happen, but it's not really a sales activity when we're doing these things. None of these things are sales related. Sales related is anything that we're doing when we're actually meeting with clients. Well, if I'm standing in front of the Berkshire office and we're talking about new products and things of that nature, well, sure, we're doing a little bit of selling for whatever's going on with cross country at the time, and those would be green. For you guys, the green things would be calls that you're going to make, time, the listing appointments that you're going to have, an open house that you're going to attend. Our goal eventually is to have a lot of green on the screen. If you don't have green, that means you're not selling, which means you're not generating leads, which means that you're not probably closing a lot of business. This time blocking will show you where you need to be and what windows are open to actually do some of those sales related things. Now, so we've got our team meetings, our sales meetings. Now I want to talk about sales activities and things you can do. You guys notice in the top here, we actually have, this is actually the weekly schedule for core realtors. I'm trained by the core training for the last 8 years. They train real estate agents and they train loan officers. This particular sheet has to deal with real estate agents. Basically, what they want you to do on a Monday would be to set some time up to call your 50 favorite people or your VIPs. Tuesday, you're setting time up, blocking up to call your current clients. Wednesday, you're going to call hot leads and prospects. Thursday, you're going to work your database. Now, these types, I don't care what you do on the top. Maybe your day Monday is just to call expireds. I don't know, but you should create a couple block. I would create at least a 1 to 2 hour time block where I would be calling. Let's see here. Yeah, looks like I got to do that slower. So maybe I'm creating a 2 hour time block here and I'm going to make sales calls. Sales calls. That's my 2 hour time block where I'm going to, from 11:30 to 1 o'clock, I'm going to do nothing but make sales calls. We're building out this calendar so you make sure you build in your sales activity. If you had 2 hours of sales activity every day, sales, marketing, calling out, doing pop buys, whatever your deal is, something that puts you in front of a potential client, all of those things should be green. Speaking of a green thing, you go into a networking event where you can actually see potentially other clients. That would also be a green activity. Let me put that in green. There we go. That would be a green activity. Now, I want to give you guys a couple of what I'll call some time blocking hacks. You can build your own schedule out. We're going to jump over here and I'm going to show you guys an example. This is kind of what some of my days look like. Green, red, orange is my time. I like orange as a color, so I usually pick orange as my time, the things I do. But you can kind of see some of the scheduling. Here's another example. This is truly what some of our weeks look like. And we've color coded things very intensely so we know what's going on between sales activity and between meetings and things that we have to take care of. So these things, this is what your schedule should eventually look like. Yes, we do have some spaces that aren't filled. Perfect. We could use that for a little catch up time. The one thing that I want to share with you guys, the one pushback that I often hear about time blocking is, Rich, I can't time block. You have no idea what my schedule looks like. Well, you don't really have a schedule, number one, but number two, your answer, that what I get as far as pushback on time blocking is, well, things come up. Cool. You know what? On that Monday, things might come up. Now, let's say at 11:30, when I'm supposed to be making outbound sales calls, let's say at 11:25, a real estate agent calls me and says, hey, I've got these clients who are relocating to Chicago. I'm going to be out with them this afternoon. I'd like to get them pre-approved. What's the most important thing for me to do at that time? It's not to make sales calls to generate leads. That's the lead. So the most important thing for me to do is work on that lead. That's what we're here for as realtors and mortgage lenders, to generate leads that eventually turns into listings or buy-side sales for you guys. So yes, you can pivot. Allow yourself a little room to pivot. If I have to take that application and it takes me 30 minutes to take the application, it's okay if I move my sales calls to a little bit later in the day. If you're doing the face-to-face stuff that gets you business and gets you guys paid, give yourself the grace to move some of those things. But you do need a schedule. One other thing I want to talk about scheduling is you should certainly have a start time in mind. I know people who are extremely successful who do not start their day till 10 o'clock in the morning. They're night owls, they sleep in, but at 10 o'clock, from 10 to 6, they're super productive. Still an 8-hour day, wherever you're is. I'm not, I'll tell you eventually when I wake up in the morning, I'm kind of the opposite end of that. find what works for you and put it in this schedule. All right. Any questions before I go on to a couple other things on this question? Will this link to our online calendar? Well, Tony might be best. So we actually have our Outlook calendar kind of built so it looks like this. Yeah, this won't link to your online calendar, unfortunately, but you can go into your online calendar. Let's say you use Outlook, which we do. When we have these red meetings in here, we're just putting them on repeat till eternity because they're not going to change unless we change them. And we sometimes will change them. In the wintertime, I'll give you a perfect example. You guys could see the status meeting here. In the summertime, in the wintertime, our status meeting with our processors can probably be done in 30 minutes. In the spring and the summer, when we're busy, my status meeting with the processors could go an hour. So we definitely are a little flexible moving this team meeting around a little bit because my status meeting could go way longer than 30 minutes. And again, it's just seasonal. We'll make those little adjustments. But I would definitely, okay, Angela definitely, Tony will take care of that. But Outlook definitely can do the color coding as well. Celeste just commented, do I buffer with drive time? Absolutely, Linda, for sure. We definitely buffer with drive time. Now, I want to give you guys a couple of hacks that I've learned over time. This next one is really good and it saved me a lot of time. So oftentimes you have situations where people want to meet with you or I'm trying to create a meeting. So what I did is I looked at my calendar and I saw, I'm going to put in here lunch, TBD. So I saw about 3 windows where I could actually have standing open lunch appointments or breakfast appointments. And every week on my calendar, as we get into, what is this one, 8 o'clock? Oh yeah, 7:30, 8 o'clock. So lunch TV, no, not breakfast, not lunch that early, breakfast. So I actually picked 3 times where I know my schedule is always open around these particular meal times. And if somebody actually wants to get together with me for lunch or breakfast, these are the times I know are guaranteed to be open on my calendar. So if somebody we just set an appointment, Jill Collins and I just set an appointment recently, and I gave her the times that were on my calendar. It was pretty easy. Do you want to meet for lunch Wednesday or lunch on Friday? So I gave a couple choices, but these are permanent opening times on my calendar that are locked up as soon as somebody takes them. So if somebody ever asks you guys, hey, when do you want to get together? Pick 2 or 3 times that are always available based on my schedule. I can't go Thursday morning because I've got a networking meeting. So I would never be able to have breakfast with somebody Thursday morning because I've got this breakfast meeting that runs from 7:30 to 9. I've got another breakfast meeting on Wednesday that runs from 7 to 8:15. Now I might be able to squeeze a lunch in or a breakfast in after that, but why? I've got 3 appointments here. They're guaranteed, no problem. Mari says, oh, I don't know about that because I don't have an Apple calendar, Mari. It's a good question. Actually, Tony might be able to answer that. All right. So that's one quick time hack as we start talking about this. Some other time hacks. And again, I've given you guys the template how to build the calendar. I just want to summarize real quick. You put the things that are important to you, church, meditation, workout, reading. Then you put the things that are important to your family, date nights, soccer practice, maybe church, dinner with your parents, whatever it is, those go in next. Then after that, the hard meetings that you have with your office, with your team, those sales meetings, your networking events that maybe you're going to every week, those get plugged in. Last but not least is your sales activity. Now, couple things that I want to give you tips on, some hacks I've learned since I've been doing this, and I've been doing time blocking for over 10 years and taught this class several times, even to non-realtors. So in the morning, like my morning ritual looks like this. wake up, feed my dog, walk my dog. I want to read 10 pages of a book every day, which we do, work out, and then jump in the shower and head out on the day. Those are the things that were minimum to me. Now I added the Miracle Morning. If you guys don't know the Miracle Morning, look it up. It's a great book. There's an app. It's a wonderful way to start your day. It adds a couple other things that I didn't cover there, but if you do the Miracle Morning, fine. For me, I had to figure out what time of the morning could get up, knock out everything I needed to get done, and still get out the door at the time I needed to get out the door. And this is the way I figured out how to do it. It was kind of painful, but I'm just going to tell you how I did it. I literally set my clock for a certain time. And if thinking that from that time that I got up to the time I had to be out the door, garage door closing behind me, would I have enough time? Feed the dog, walk the dog, take a shower, work out, read the pages, get ready to go. If that time didn't work, I backed the starting time up 10 minutes. And if that time didn't work, I backed the starting time up 10 minutes. It got to the point where I had to try to make it work because I didn't want to get up as early as I'm getting up. How early am I getting up? My clock goes off at 4:45 every morning to get the things I need to get done every morning. One of my networking groups starts at 7, the other one starts at 7:30. If I want to get that stuff done, that's when the clock's got to go off. That's a really good way because I hear people, I don't have enough time in the morning. You do have enough time in the morning. You're just not setting your alarm early enough to do it, which means you do have to change a little bit about your life, but you're not setting the alarm enough, or you move some of the things. Hey, maybe working out in the morning and reading in the morning is just not going to work. You got to put that at the back end of the day. So be it. But that's one thing that I did to figure out what time that I could always set my clock, no matter what, and get up and do the things that I needed to do that were important to my morning ritual. Okay, so we got that. We talked about that. Next page. So the next thing that I wanted to talk to you guys about is go check something here. Oh, yeah, we talked about that. Okay, so that's the schedule. Last thing that I want to talk to you guys about time blocking. And again, don't think your calendar's got to look like mine. This calendar looks like this over 8 years. Time block somewhere, start somewhere, make sure you schedule the sales activities. That's really what's most important to everybody on the call. Now, one last thing, preparing for next week. And this could be a Saturday ritual or a Sunday ritual. But all too often you get to Saturday and you go, man, I really wanted to try to get together with a couple of friends and it never happened. Or I really wanted to try to sneak in an extra class, reading, yoga, whatever it was, and it just never happened. I thought I'd have some time. I figured I'd just leave it open and it never happened. So now what I'm doing on a Saturday or a Sunday, first thing to do is look back on your week and figure out what you didn't do that was definitely important that you wanted to get done. So now that you recognize what that is, we're going to look at our week forward and make it a point to get that on the schedule. So we're going to look forward. So if I didn't, let's say I didn't take that class, I'm a Saturday or Sunday, I'm going to look on my calendar and I'm going to put the darn class in the schedule because I wanted to go check that out or go see a movie or whatever it was I didn't do last week, but I'm making sure it's in the schedule for next week. Also, one of the things you can do is start looking 1 to 2 weeks ahead as you have a calendar that's reliable. Hey, I can't get this done this week because we've got family in town or whatever, but next week I'm putting it on the calendar because I want to make sure it gets done. How do you prepare for next week? So additionally, in addition to looking at what you're scheduling and making sure your schedule makes sense, Linda Dressler talked about drive time. She's right. I've seen some things sometimes on my calendar. I'm like, oh, I got to be in Orland, which means I'm going to lose an hour in the morning driving down to Orland. I might have to move something around. So double check your days and make sure that you got enough time to do what you need to do. The next thing that you could do is, I actually started doing this. I'm not consistent with it, but I started doing this on a Sunday. I'll grab my phone that's got my calendar, my schedule in it, and I will go set out. I'll hang up in a row what I'm going to wear on Monday, what I'm going to wear on Tuesday, what I'm going to wear on the Wednesday, what I'm going to wear on Thursday, what I'm going to wear on Friday. Now, there's a little bit of madness to that too. I mean, if anybody knows about Steve Jobs, he made it simple. He wore the same color polo, the same pants every day. No matter what, he wore the exact same color every day. So, because he didn't want to spend time thinking about it. And I know if you're like me, you've been in your closet like, hey, I thought that tie matched. Maybe that tie doesn't, or how come that shirt? Oh, I'm out of shirts, whatever it is. If you lay it out for the week, you already know what your schedule is because you're time blocking. Hey, I got a networking event, so I got to dress nice. Hey, Thursday, I have no appointments. Maybe I could wear jeans and a nice shirt. I'm going to lay it all out of my closet. In this way, when I get ready to go up there, I don't have to think about it. It's already done. That's a huge, huge, huge time hack. Also on Saturday or Sunday, make sure you gas up your car. The worst thing that happened Monday morning, I got to go down to Orland Park. I got a showing that's an hour away. Oh, I got to go wait in line at Costco and gas. Yeah, nobody wants to do that. Wash your car also. And I'm going to get to some of the questions here. And I'm sorry, you guys, I know you were hitting the questions pretty good. I'm going to back up a little bit. All right, so go through here. Yes, Linda, we brought for the drive time. One quick hack, Linda, on drive time. If I know I've got 2 hours of driving with me, and if I'm scheduling ahead of time, like on that Saturday or Sunday, and I know for a fact I'm going to be in the car for 2 hours on a Tuesday, I might grab a separate piece of paper and a notebook and just put drive time calls and people that I would need to call where I could have a conversation with them in the car. And honestly, it might just be reconnecting with my family or friends. Hey, I want to check in on somebody, their dog was sick or whatever it is. I'll take little notes. So then I'll drive, make some calls on the way. I'll have a list of people I can call. So it's not really dead time for me. Let's see here. Tony said the Apple Calendar can add travel time and it's her favorite feature. So yes, Apple Calendar will add some drive time. And Linda's a Samsung girl. That's good. Let's see here. Do I intentionally leave open space? Yeah, I can leave some open space. I can. I don't intentionally do it, but I can leave some open space. I really think if you're time blocking properly, everything should be kind of on top of each other so that you can get everything you want to get done. But going to your point, Kelly, if you think that maybe after 2 hours of showing somebody, you wanted to sit and do a little bit of a download of what their comments were during the showings, maybe you want to give some feedback to the listing agents on the property, why not block that out? Like, hey, I'm blocking out 30 minutes just to take a couple notes so I know what they liked, what they didn't like, but put that in there. You've got the 2 hours of showing, now block out some post time. All right, let's see, check Samsung's calendar, Samsung does not have, okay, so you guys probably saw that. Okay, good. Okay, good. That's what I do. Means more. That's good. Lindo, do I go to bed at 9? I actually usually am in bed by 10, and so usually by 10 I'm in bed. So figure 10 to about 4:45. That's about 6 hours 45 minutes. It's pretty good. If I can get between 6 and 7 hours, that's pretty good. Let's see here. Later, would you cover what you pay a VA, a virtual? Oh, virtual. I don't have a virtual assistant, Celeste, unfortunately. So I don't have a virtual assistant. I do believe in them. We're actually looking at them for something that I think will help us on the data entry side. So if anybody knows a good realtor VA company, please put it in the chat. I've heard some great ones out there. I know some of my agents are using them with some great success. I do believe in it, maybe not for customer facing activities, but certainly for data entry and things of that nature, social media and handling some responding to texts, responding to social media and things like that. Joanna wants the slide deck out. We'll get that out to you guys. Linda says, I want to make sure I have calls that I can make while driving. Okay, good. Excellent, excellent. That's funny. And how would you recommend handle unplanned situations? I love that. So yeah, unplanned situations is kind of similar to that agent that called me right before. I think the first thing that's important when we start talking about unplanned situations is, your goal should be selling real estate. The end game is selling real estate, whether it's buy side or listing side. If that unplanned event is somebody that wants to go see a property in 30 minutes and you are about to make 2 hours of sales call, I'm getting in the car and showing them a property. That's the end result we're all looking for. So that's one thing. But the second thing could be a family thing. So I want to talk about that a little bit. So, you're about to make your 2 hours worth of calls. You get a call from school. Unfortunately, somebody fell and scraped their knee and you got to come get them, or they're running a temperature, whatever it is. Yeah, that's an unplanned event. You had a schedule. So you started the day with a really good schedule and a really good idea. If you can go take care of your child and everything's okay, you can push that down a little bit later in the day. So it's okay. That's the one thing that people get hung up about time blocking, and they don't give themselves grace or forgiveness. It drives me crazy. Give yourself grace to move some things. Just don't move things because you're doom scrolling on social media. So move things that are unplanned emergencies. Move things that are great opportunities for you to go get to that end game, which is that sale. Those are the things that you should do. So yeah, and if you've got to move, look, if I've got to move 2 hours worth of calls, I will try to squeeze them into Tuesday. Hey, I missed my 2 hours worth of calls. My coach expects me to make those. I'm going to move them to Tuesday. All right. So we talked about that with Irene. Linda says, I even block out time in between appointments, 15 minutes for checking emails. Yeah, it's perfect. Actually, let's talk about that. I'm glad you brought that up. I have in my schedule time to follow up with emails and time to follow up with voicemails. Now, my voicemails and emails pretty much are managed, and people are actually taking care of that before I can get to it. But there are some things I have to do and I have to do only. But I have 2 times a day where I have 30 minutes blocked out to check emails, check voicemails, and anything that's not urgent that can be done. So I am taking an hour a day to do that, but I have 2 times during the day. I'm not checking them all day long. That's just not something that works for me, and it really wouldn't work for you. If you're trying to make 2 hours of sales calls, look, sales calls are tough. I mean, they're tough. Nobody likes to make sales calls and get rejected. People feel a little squeamish about making sales calls. We always find an excuse not to do it. Email is a hell of an excuse. Don't set aside a specific time when your email is available. Tony and I, when we meet, this is really important distinction. Tony and I, when we meet every morning at our team meeting, I give her 2 half-hour windows where I'm available for all of my teammates, all of the other loan officers in the branch, anybody in the region. They get 2 half-hour windows that they can reach. They can call me, they can come in my office. That's it. My door is closed otherwise. Literally, can't swing a camera over, but it is closed otherwise, because otherwise I would not get anything done. I do have some people that will take care of some things, but we don't deliver babies. We're not heart surgeons. Whatever somebody needs can typically wait an hour and a half. There's nothing that urgent that I have to be interrupted while I'm working on my business or in my business. All right, so let's see here. My VA has her own company. I'll connect you guys. Okay, cool. Mari's got a VA. Yeah, Mari, I didn't know if Mari wanted to volunteer that because she does love her VA. And I've heard good things about what her VA has been able to do for her. Where does writing a contract fit in? Is it green? I would say writing a contract is green. That is a sales activity. So yeah, that would definitely be green. Yeah. Aunt Mari, can you share before? Okay, so you guys are working on that. I used to be a slave to the schedule, and unplanned events would derail me. I learned the hard way to adjust for that. Absolutely, Kelly. Absolutely. You guys have to be locked in your schedule. That's why my door's closed and I'm only open a half hour a day, a half hour in the morning, half hour in the afternoon. I do make myself available, but I have to get my stuff done. If you guys remember, let's go back up here. I'm responsible for a lot of people, and my region alone probably has several hundred people within that region. So I'm responsible for a lot of stuff. What else? Slate to schedule Mari. If Mari sends me VA, oh, okay. So Mari, Tony said if Mari will send us the VA company, we can actually put it in a follow-up email to you guys. So she's recommending her virtual assistant company. Oh, it's good to hear you say that if you get a call for showings during a call time to go on showings. I hear so many times the opposite. Yeah, I mean, it's, unfortunately, we're in an instant gratitude, situation. So if somebody wants to see a property, I know what they're going to do with you guys. They're going to go find somebody else. It's probably the same thing with us. If they want to get pre-approved right now, they want to do it now. Now, fortunately, I have a team that can take care of them. If they do call, somebody on the team is going to take care of them. So we can get that done and we can get that done. And if I was the only person, if I was the team, I would take that call for that pre-approval and push my sales calls to the side. Mari, so she's got that. Zakaya, I love that. Yes, I do schedule my vacations. So part of the personal stuff is actually my wife and I usually schedule a 3-day weekend away somewhere, just to kind of get away from everything and everyone. And yes, we do schedule vacations as well. So no matter what, try to take at least what amounts to at least a week every 6 months to get away. So you definitely got to unplug. All right, so that's what my schedule looks like. I got a couple other things for you guys. So these are the core theme days. I want to go over these really quickly. So the core is a company. It's called the Core Training. You guys can look it up. They train realtors. They train loan officers. We had Rick Ruby out here last year. The mega event again is coming up. That'll be an event in Dallas. It's a one-day event, and we'll probably be talking about it later on in the year. But this is what they have. The real estate agents do have a list. You have to have a list of 50 favorite people that you would call. Those people can be relatives. They can be people that actually could influence people to work with you, whether it's your priest, your dentist, whatever. Your current client updates. So if you have current clients that you're working with, just give them an update on what the market's going on. If they're listed, give them an update what's going on with their listing. Hot leads and prospects. You should have a form, and we just taught a class last month called Lead Tracker. Hang on, I gotta shut that off. We taught a class last month called Lead Tracker, and that's a form where you can put all of your leads so you have one place to go and follow up for your leads. Database calls, you should definitely be working your database. This is a little bit of a tease. Next month we have a class called HomeBot coming up. HomeBot is an incredible tool to keep up to date with your clients. The cool thing about HomeBot is every week on a Monday, they send you a report how your database is interacting with their tool, and it gives you information so that you can actually call your clients and follow up with it. We'll tease that more at the end of this call. And last but not least, business people and builders would definitely be somebody that I would be calling on Friday. I don't think realtors work builders enough. Builders do need to work with agents. So for example, especially some of these big production subdivisions, the D.R. Hortons of the world, the M&I, those agents that are inside, they can't sell real estate outside. So if somebody walks into this subdivision and it's a $750,000 home, and they tell the sales agent, man, I'd love to buy this place, but I have to sell mine first, your card should be the one they're handing out. Go call on builders and introduce yourself to these sales reps. They need to meet agents to hand out a card so that those houses can get sold so they can turn around and buy this new construction. All right, let's see here. We got that. All right, good. And this. So on my laptop, I have this wonderful sticker that says, Mortgage Expert here, have questions, let's chat. If you're out in a Starbucks, at a restaurant, or you're working anywhere on your laptop and you'd like this sticker, send us a response and we'll get it out to you. This is a great sticker to have on the back of your laptop. One of my favorite agents, Gus, he's got a big sticker. His whole back of his laptop says, I'm a realtor, come talk to me. So he does a great job. But we have this sticker that we can provide to you. Next, we do have a Facebook class. So if you are Facebook group, sorry about that, Facebook and class, I read them together. So we do have a Facebook group. If you want to join that, you'll find different events. We have a lot of live events. Our next training event is going to be on HomeBot. Oh, I like this. Hold on. We got a whole bunch of replies on the stickers. I think Tony, let's see here. All right. So we got a bunch of replies on the stickers. We will get the stickers out to you. The stickers are actually black, just so you know. Let's see. So we'll get all those out. That's perfect. And perfect sticker. Okay, good. Any last questions that you guys have on time blocking, throw them in the chat. Come check out our HomeBot class. HomeBot is a cheap, inexpensive tool to communicate with your database. Think about HomeBot this way. Most people's wealth is tied up in the equity of their home. And on their any money that we have to have deposited with a bank, Fidelity, or even our 401k, the government actually requires that these companies provide a statement every 90 days so that the people that have the money there know how much money they have and what's happening with their investments. We, you and I, don't provide a statement to our clients every month to tell them what's happening with their other biggest asset, their house. That's what HomeBot is. HomeBot is a statement, an email every month that says, hey, based on our research through BlackRock or in a couple other different websites, we've determined that the appreciation in your specific area is X%. And so if you give the idea of what the initial home is, because you sold it, when you sold it, they'll have some idea, they being HomeBot, of what it is. Now, the one thing that people always miss in HomeBot is the client can go in and make an adjustment. Let's say they put on 800 square feet in a massive addition. Cool, go in and adjust it. Once you adjust it, the appreciation will go off of that figure. But inside the email, there's two really important things. Number one, they will be told, hey, you have this much equity that you could do the following with. You could buy a bigger home. You could buy a second home, or you can buy investment property. And if you'd like more information, click here, whatever. Anything your clients do within this software gets reported back to you. As a matter of fact, the software has a 67% open rate. Super solid stuff. Please come check out our HomeBot class. It won't be taught by me. It'll be taught by one of the HomeBot experts. And we would love to see you there. Kelly, I see that you heard about that. We've got the links here. If there's no other questions for you guys, I'm going to let you go. Thank you guys for attending. If you know of any realtors who would appreciate this information, let me know. And we appreciate you all. And let's make it a great year and get out of here. And again, thank you, Teresa. Thank you, Teresa, for sponsoring. And none of this stuff happens without Tony. So thank you very much, Tony, for putting this all together. I appreciate you both. Thank you, Teresa. Did you learn something?
Thank you, Rich. It was awesome.
Okay, good.
Loved it.
Okay, good. All right, you guys. Thank you guys for all the great props. And Tony will get some feedback to you and get some of this other information you guys are looking for. Thanks, Gordon. Thanks, Patty. Appreciate that, Celeste. And you guys make it a great day. Take care. Bye-bye.